We're 10 friends from Vancouver who wanted to keep our community together, but couldn't afford homeownership in the city. This is the story of how we bought a 4-acre property in Gibsons, BC, and are turning it into a 10-lot community with gardens, communal areas, and room for our growing families. And it's a story of how Vancity helped make it all possible. This is Building Together.
Imagine small homes, big open space, big community opportunity.
And so I immediately picked up the phone and called Tess and I was like, yes, absolutely, we've talked about this, I'm in. Let's figure out how to make it happen.
As soon as we found the property, we went full speed ahead to try to make it ours, starting with figuring out how to finance it. But a lot of the big banks couldn't help us. Our experience with Vancity was totally different. Not only were they open to the idea, but they also had a product that was made to fit projects like ours. They have this offering called a mixer mortgage, which basically allows 2 or more people to buy property together, plus the legal and insurance support needed to protect everyone's best interests.
Vancity for us really means that this project could move forward. Otherwise, we just wouldn't have been able to engage in it. They're really kind of doing something different with their group mortgage.
None of us had the independent finances to make this kind of project work, so Vancity supporting us to access this group mortgage was incredible, and throughout the process, they've really supported us.
With the help of our local Vancity branch, our offer on the property was accepted.
Yeah, welcome to our property.
I think the first things that I thought of when I came here was how much natural beauty exists in this space and the incredible potential of it. The vision for this space is really the biggest community space. So right here will be where our community wastewater treatment, Glendon biofilter is underground.
The property included this beautiful house that needed a lot of work. We knew we wanted to fix it up for a tenant to help us out with our mortgage and to provide some affordable housing in the area.
We first stepped on the property in about 2017, and it definitely needed some work.
Yeah, we knew we had a lot of work to do, but when we got here, we really saw how much we had to do.
Yeah. We renovated the house. That was a big undertaking. We don't own homes already, so we were kind of learning how to do some of this renovation stuff.
We really focused on that for the first year, doing some cosmetic upgrades to the house, and really turning it into a home for a long-term tenant.
After that, we shifted focus to designing our future homes and the communal areas we'd share.
One of our many projects to do today is to fix the countertop on our outdoor kitchen.
We built a wood fire sauna, because the sauna is definitely something that our community enjoys.
So we've been slowly over the last 2 or 3 years refurbishing this shed so that it's a nice little bunkie for us to stay in.
So yeah, with friends, with a big group especially, it's just you accomplish a lot in a really short amount of time, which is really encouraging, you know, and it just makes it so much more fun.
As it turns out, the renovations were a piece of cake compared to the subdivision and rezoning process.
I think the renos were fairly straightforward. The rest of it is a lot more complex, right? You start from, we want to subdivide the property, to, okay, how do we actually accomplish that and who do we need to talk to? We assumed that we would be able to just take this property, which is 4 acres, and carve it up into 8 half-acre parcels. Once we embarked on rezoning and subdivision, sort of this next stage, in conversation with the planners, we realized pretty quickly that that probably wasn't going to be achievable, or it just wasn't going to work. So that's a big shift. That was a big shift in terms of, okay, great, we're just going to carve up the property, everyone gets their own piece of land, you know, build a house, build a driveway, to, okay, how are we going to make this work?
The property was zoned as rural residential. And in order for us to be able to make it into 10 lots, we needed it to be comprehensive development clustered housing area.
In the next year, we expect to have approval for a subdivision application, and we'll be getting into construction. We'll be putting in a road, utilities, septic systems, water, power, trying to get the whole infrastructure and backbone so that we can actually build our own houses out here.
The Sunshine Coast Regional District had put a lot of thought into their community plans. We were happy to use those as a base when we started designing our neighborhood and sought more input from our neighbors along the way.
This is Colleen and Caitlin.
This is our lot, number 2, Lauren and Charlie.
This is lot number 3, this is Kevin's lot.
This lot right here, number 4, is Kane and Tess.
This is Annalise, Niall, and our growing family's lot.
This is Mike and Lizzie's lot.
This is lot 8. This is Andrew and Mickey.
Okay, so as part of our subdivision, we're actually designating about 50% of the property as communal space. So that being this whole sort of southern portion that we're currently seeing is likely to have a communal sort of workshop, carpentry, woodworking space, likely a greenhouse, potentially a chicken coop, over top of our wastewater treatment facilities where we're envisioning a large community garden to grow food for the folks who live here.
We hosted an open house where we presented our plans to our neighbors and the community and received valuable feedback on our project. We knew we wanted to make our community as sustainable as possible while also keeping costs down. And that process had its own set of bumps in the road. On the next episode of Building Together.
Yeah, so bringing sustainability into this project.
We were really mindful of how water moves on the land, how animals move on the land.
Normally I don't do developments, but this one, it was not a normal development.